Sesame Street, he appears to teach children about counting. He wasn't initially created to be on that show. Jim Henson originally created Limbo for his surreal short film titled Limbo, The Organized Mind.
Just killed him. I'm sorry. No, you are lying. Boris, it's me, Linko. Wake up!
Linko? He's dead.
No! Oh, dealer!
Where the character talks about the human subconscious over images of fog and cockroaches. Why he made the switch to Sesame Street is beyond us. Maybe Henson doesn't want his puppets to go to waste. It is pretty cool. I, however, do not think that this is something that 2-year-olds want staring into their souls.
Music Master.
I suppose with a series like R.L. Stein's Goosebumps, some scary and disturbing moments come with the territory. However, the events that occur in the episode The Haunted Mask are notable for being that episode. Every series has one. The one episode that fucks you up, even if you're already expecting something scary. Based on the 11th book in the series, The Haunted Mask is a 2-part episode that follows Carly Beth, a girl who is sick and tired of being seen as timid and scared. With Halloween coming up, she refuses to wear the cute duck costume her mother made for her, and instead looks for something truly terrifying in order to get back at her friends and anyone else who has made fun of her. At a mysterious costume store, she finds an absolutely grotesque mask that she is certain will scare the fuck out of her friends. The creepy storekeeper won't sell her the mask, but to be fair, he does offer her a gorilla mask, but she ends up stealing it and running out of the store. After she puts it on to scare her brother, she finds that it takes a while to get the mask off her face. She also finds that the mask has made her voice more grisly and menacing. The more and more she puts on the mask, the more it begins to take over her body. She becomes a completely different person while wearing the mask, and even attacks her own friends. Eventually it gets to the point where she cannot take off the mask at all, as it has fused with her face. She goes back to the costume store, but the shopkeeper says that removing it is no use. Only an act of true love can remove the mask, and she's running out of time. Disgusting masks in the shop begin floating in midair and then chase her out to a nearby cemetery. Realizes that the act of true love that can remove the mask equally ugly and disturbing mold of her head that her possibly psychotic mother made for her. You know, because love, I guess? Earlier that evening, she buries it in the same cemetery that the masks have chased her to. Long story short, she exhumes her replica head, and apparently it's so fucking creepy that the evil, floating, disembodied masks that are chasing her get scared off. Her own mask then comes off, and Carly throws the abomination near the door, instead of fucking burning it. Her brother gets his hands on it and puts it on, and the horror begins anew. Having something cling onto your face is not a pleasant thought, especially if it's something that slowly takes over your body. Masks in general are made of latex, smell gross, and irritate the skin. Imagine one stuck on you, sucking the life out of you. That's probably the furthest thing from a pleasant thought as you can get.
Flop play.
Despite being brought up in previous videos on this channel, it would be criminal to not talk about the episode Mind Pollution from Captain Planet on this list.
Flop play.
This episode feels so real compared to many of the other entries on this list due to how it mirrors the fears many of us have about our friend, family members, or anyone that you know that has suffered through an addiction. A villain named Verminous Scum is selling a highly addictive drug called Bliss, and Linka's cousin Boris becomes addicted to it. While Bliss is a made-up drug, it's a simple pill that one takes, making his connection to real-life drugs evident. Boris becomes agitated and arrogant, and eventually slips a pill into Linka's food, causing her to become addicted as well. Eventually, the Planeteers have to fight off a Bliss-addicted crowd, desperate to do anything that Scum says for more Bliss. During the chaos, Scum gives Boris a whole bottle of Bliss in exchange for killing the Planeteers. He promptly downs half the bottle and overdoses, dying almost immediately. The commentary about drug addiction can be a bit on the nose, as is the way with many PSA episodes of older cartoons. The parallels to real-life drug addiction is rather haunting. Seeing a main character like Linka become pale, with sunken cheeks and baggy eyes is disturbing and upsetting. Bliss seems to be related the closest to meth, giving its immediate addictive appeal and giving the user its effect of feeling no pain, at least for a little while. The Bliss users are able to smash windows with their bare fists and feel nothing, similar to the adrenaline rush of meth. I'm sure this episode did the trick and prevented many kids from taking drugs after seeing Boris die.
Steven Universe is a show known for pushing the boundaries of what is commonplace in animation. But with that, we see the darker side, the more disturbing and terrifying aspects. In the episode Keeping It Together, we are introduced to gem mutants, hunks of cracked gems crudely put together and forced to fuse. When they take on the physical form, they appear as a deformed, disgusting creature, looking for more gems in order to complete themselves. Upon seeing them for the first time, Garnet has an emotional breakdown, stating that
your flight attendant will be serving refreshments shortly, so sit back and enjoy today's onboard entertainment.
The seats on the ship go round and round, round and round, round and round. The seats on the ship go round and round, up off the ground.
Yeah, essentially rape. It is increased tenfold later when we meet the cluster, the final product of the gem mutants. It is made up of thousands and thousands of broken gems at the center of the earth. They are constantly in pain, screaming and arguing eternally. So moving away from moments are